Mall. Just another ghetto fake. You need to learn your place. Who gives a damn who you are? Let go of me! No one will believe you.
You think you're somebody special, don't you? Officer Derek Hayes circles around Jessica Morgan with predatory eyes, walking around acting like you own everything, like you actually matter. Sir, please, you need to understand your place. Hayes's voice turns cruel. Arrogant women like you disgust me. Time to teach you a lesson. His hands shoot forward, grabbing her skirt. One brutal yank tears the entire fabric clean off. There you go, sweetheart. Now everybody can see what you really are. Hayes holds up the ripped skirt like some kind of trophy, just another low-class fake trying to act respectable. Jessica stands there frozen, half-naked, shaking with shock and rage. People around her gasp out loud. Cell phones come out everywhere. Security cameras record every single moment. Hayes smirks, looking satisfied. Another lesson delivered. Another woman put in her place. October 16th. Riverside County Mall. A predator wearing a badge thinks nobody can touch him. A woman endures calculated public humiliation. But Hayes has absolutely no idea who he just attacked. And when the truth finally comes out, his entire world is going to burn. Where are you from? Tell us in the comments below. And if you're loving this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more. 3 hours earlier, Jessica Morgan stands in front of her bedroom mirror, adjusting her dark blue jacket. Wednesday faculty meeting at Riverside High School. Parent-teacher conferences coming up next week. Her daughter Emma's birthday celebration this weekend. Just a regular Tuesday for a school counselor who helps teenagers navigate college applications and life problems. Nothing unusual. Nothing that would make her a target. Marcus left early for Sheriff's Department budget discussions. 24 years of marriage to someone in law enforcement means rushed morning coffees and evening talks about local government issues. Their life runs on schedules controlled by public duty. Mom, remember the party supplies. Emma yells from downstairs, 12 years old and already organizing her birthday with perfect precision. Jessica grabs her purse and car keys. Princess-themed decorations from the mall. Quick shopping trip. She'll be back home by 5 o'clock. Meanwhile, across town, Officer Derek Hayes starts his shift at Riverside County Mall. 4th year on the police force, community relations officer. His job, keep things orderly, stop shoplifters, handle problems. But Hayes sees opportunities where other officers see routine patrol. He watches the crowd patterns carefully, notes how the demographics change throughout the day. Afternoon brings professional women shopping by themselves, working mothers between shifts, perfect targets for what he calls attitude adjustment. Hayes's boss, Captain Williams, calls it active community policing. The department encourages aggressive approaches. Monthly reviews reward officers who generate the highest number of stops, searches, and tickets. Hayes excels at those statistics, especially with women who act like they're superior to everyone. He positions himself by the main entrance, watching shoppers walk past, scanning for attitude, expensive clothing, the type of confidence that needs correction. Professional women in work clothes grab his attention. They move differently, speak differently, carry themselves like they deserve respect. Hayes's radio buzzes with standard updates, security notifications from other areas, small incidents requiring paperwork, but he's hunting for something bigger today. The mall's camera system captures everything. 17 cameras cover the main hallway, high-quality video and audio, perfect documentation of police work. What Hayes doesn't realize, those same cameras will document his crimes. At 3 minutes past 3 in the afternoon, a dark blue Honda pulls into parking spot B8. Jessica Morgan checks her shopping list. Princess decorations, gift bags, maybe something nice for herself. She locks her car and heads toward the main entrance. Professional walk, confident bearing, navy jacket, and knee-length skirt, everything Hayes has been waiting for. He watches her approach through the glass doors, studies how she moves, plans his attack. Another entitled woman about to learn respect. But Jessica Morgan brings more than confidence into that mall. She brings 24 years of law enforcement marriage. She understands procedure. She knows her rights. And she knows exactly how complaints get filed. What she doesn't realize, Hayes has perfected his method on 9 other women over 19 months, and today he's hunting again, completely unaware he's targeting the most dangerous woman possible. Hayes intercepts Jessica 21 feet from the entrance. "Excuse me, ma'am." His tone sounds official, professional, the voice he uses before the hunt starts. Jessica stops, turns toward the uniformed officer. "Yes, need to talk with you about some suspicious activity." Hayes blocks her path to the main doors. "Got reports of someone matching your description." "I'm sorry, what kind of reports?" Jessica's voice remains calm. 24 years of law enforcement marriage taught her to stay composed around police. Shoplifting, hiding merchandise. Hayes circles her slowly. Predator behavior disguised as procedure. "Gonna need to check that purse." "Officer, I haven't even gone inside yet." "I just arrived, don't get smart with me." The mask starts slipping. "You people always have excuses." Jessica's posture straightens. "You people, you heard what I said." Hayes steps closer. Too close. "Uppity women like you who think you're better than everyone else. Walking around here like you own everything. I'd like to speak with your supervisor." "I am the supervisor here, princess." Hayes's voice turns poisonous. "And I'm ordering you to open that purse before I open it myself." "Sir, I'm not comfortable." Hayes laughs, cold, calculating. "You want comfort? How about this?" His hands move fast, professional training twisted into predatory skill. One hand grabs her shoulder, the other seizes her skirt. "Let's see what you're hiding under here, sweetheart." The fabric tears, one violent motion. Hayes yanks the entire skirt away from her body. Jessica stumbles backward, exposed from the waist down. Complete shock freezes her. "There we go." Hayes holds the torn skirt high over his head like a victory flag. "Now everyone can see what you really are." Shoppers stop moving. Mothers shield their children's eyes. Teenagers pull out phones. Just another ghetto fake pretending to be classy. Hayes waves the fabric around, acting like you're somebody important, like you actually matter. Jessica's hands shake as she tries covering herself. Her jacket barely reaches her thighs. "You can't do this. This is assault." "This is police work, woman." Hayes throws the destroyed skirt at her feet, teaching respect to disrespectful people. An older man steps forward. "Officer, this seems way too extreme." "Stay back, old man, police business." Hayes's hand moves to his belt. Clear threat. The man backs away. Other shoppers keep their distance. Nobody challenges a uniformed officer. Jessica's shock transforms into fury. "I want your badge number, your name, your supervisor's contact information." One hand to wipe, woman, other hand to call. Hayes grins. "See which one fills up first." Security camera 8 captures every moment in crystal clear detail. Audio picks up every single word. Digital time marker, 3:04 in the afternoon. Hayes has performed this routine 9 times before. Same technique, same degradation, same racist language. Always with women who won't be believed against a police officer. Always with women who have no power to fight back. But Jessica Morgan isn't just another victim. She's memorizing every detail. Badge number 458. Name tag, D. Hayes. Radio identification. Physical description. Exact timeline. Training kicks in. Document everything. Remember procedures. Build a case that can't be broken. Hayes doesn't notice her systematic observation. He's too busy enjoying his victory. Next time you'll think twice before getting mouthy with police. He adjusts his uniform, straightens his badge. "Have a blessed day, princess." Hayes walks away, confident, satisfied. Another successful lesson delivered. Bystanders slowly scatter. Whispered conversations, nervous looks. Phone cameras already uploading videos to social media. Jessica stands alone in the mall hallway, half-dressed, humiliated but not defeated. She knows exactly who her husband is and exactly what federal crimes look like when committed under color of authority. The first video uploads at 3:11 in the afternoon. Shaky phone footage from 18-year-old Maria Davis. Caption: Police officer sexually assaults woman at Riverside Mall. Within minutes, 4 more angles appear. Different perspectives of the same criminal act. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. The algorithms detect massive engagement. Push notifications fire across thousands of devices. "Oh my God" appears in the comment sections. This is assault. Where are the arrests? Nobody calls this a misunderstanding. Nobody suggests excessive force. The community recognizes criminal behavior when they witness it directly. By 3:38 in the afternoon, the hashtag Riverside Assault trends locally. Videos accumulate 60,000 views, then 120,000. Local news stations monitor social media feeds for breaking stories. Channel 9's assignment editor Rachel Carter spots the trend first. Get a crew to Riverside Mall immediately. Police assault footage going viral. Meanwhile, Jessica sits in her Honda engine running, air conditioning, fighting October heat. She's called Marcus 4 times, straight to voicemail. Budget discussions run long on Tuesdays, her hands still shake. Adrenaline fades slowly, training kicks in, document everything while memory stays fresh. She opens her phone's voice recorder, begins systematic evidence preservation. October 16th, 3:09 in the afternoon. Officer D. Hayes, badge 458, sexually assaulted me at Riverside County Mall. Witnesses present. Security cameras recorded everything. Physical evidence, torn skirt in my possession. Her voice stays steady, professional. She knows exactly how criminal complaints get processed. At Riverside General Hospital, Dr. Sarah Rodriguez examines Jessica's injuries. Bruising on her shoulder where Hayes grabbed, scratches on her thighs from the fabric tearing, minor injuries but documented assault evidence. I need photographs for the record. Dr. Rodriguez explains, police assault cases require complete medical documentation. This was intentional, Jessica states clearly. Not excessive force, not a mistake, calculated sexual humiliation. The medical report, timestamp 4:14 in the afternoon, uses precise language. Patient presents with injuries consistent with forcible clothing removal. Bruising patterns indicate intentional assault. No evidence of accidental contact. Back at the mall, security supervisor Thomas Wilson reviews camera footage. 17 angles captured the incident. Crystal clear video, perfect audio, evidence that would convict in any courtroom. Wilson calls mall management. We have a serious problem. Police officer committed sexual assault on our property. It's all recorded. Corporate attorney Linda Morris arrives within 90 minutes. She reviews the footage. Her legal training identifies multiple felonies immediately. This isn't police brutality. She tells Wilson, this is criminal sexual assault under color of authority, federal civil rights violation. We need to preserve every single frame. The footage gets copied to secure servers. Chain of custody documented. Evidence protection protocols activated. Meanwhile, eyewitness accounts flood social media. Consistent stories corroborating details. Patricia Thompson, 68. He smiled while tearing her clothes off. He enjoyed every second. This wasn't police work. This was a crime. Robert Park, 35. My daughter asked why the policeman was hurting that lady. I had no answer. This was pure evil. Maria Martinez, 29. I was 21 feet away. I heard every word. He called her ghetto trash, said she needed to learn her place. This was racial assault. Channel 9 arrives at 5:07 in the afternoon. Reporter Kevin Stevens interviews witnesses. Their descriptions match the viral videos perfectly. This officer deliberately humiliated this woman. Stevens reports live. Multiple witnesses describe calculated cruelty, not policing, criminal assault. Legal experts weigh in immediately. Criminal defense attorney Michael Johnson appears on live television. This footage shows clear criminal intent. Johnson analyzes forcible clothing removal, sexual humiliation, racial slurs. These are serious federal crimes. Constitutional law professor Dr. Laura Walsh provides context. Title 18, Section 242, Deprivation of Rights under Color of Law, federal felony carrying an 11-year maximum sentence. Social media explodes with legal analysis. Hashtag federal crimes trends alongside hashtag Riverside Assault. Public understanding crystallizes. This was not policing gone wrong. This was a uniformed predator committing federal crimes. At 5:39 in the afternoon, Riverside Police Department releases their first statement. We are aware of the incident involving Officer Hayes. Internal investigation has begun. Officer Hayes has been placed on administrative leave pending review. The public response is immediate and furious. Administrative leave? Comment sections explode. He should be arrested. Why isn't he in handcuffs? If I did this, I'd be in jail right now. Mayor Susan Thompson's office receives 973 phone calls by 7 o'clock, all demanding criminal prosecution, all questioning why Hayes walks free while evidence of his crimes circulates online. District Attorney Richard Foster studies the footage from his office, 27 years of prosecution experience. He recognizes slam-dunk criminal cases immediately. This is sexual assault, he tells his staff, clear as daylight. We'll file charges tomorrow. But Foster doesn't know about the victim's identity yet, doesn't realize he's about to prosecute a case involving the sheriff's wife. That revelation will transform a local criminal case into a federal civil rights prosecution. By 8:17 in the evening, the video's accumulated 2.6 million views. National media picks up the story. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, all running the same footage. Police officer sexually assaults woman in mall dominates evening news cycles. Legal analysts across networks reach identical conclusions. This was premeditated criminal assault, but none of them know the victim's name yet. None realize this case will reach the highest levels of the Justice Department. That bombshell drops in exactly 51 minutes when Sheriff Marcus Morgan finally returns his wife's calls. Sheriff Marcus Morgan checks his phone at 9:08 in the evening. 19 missed calls from Jessica. 24 years of marriage taught him. Jessica doesn't call repeatedly unless something's catastrophically wrong. He steps out of the budget meeting, dials her number. Marcus, thank God. Her voice sounds strained but controlled. I need to tell you something before you hear it elsewhere. What happened? One of your officers sexually assaulted me today at the mall. It's all over social media. Morgan's world tilts sideways, complete disorientation. Officer Derek Hayes, badge 458. He ripped my skirt off in front of witnesses, called me ghetto trash. The whole thing went viral. Morgan's hand shakes against his phone. Professional training battles personal rage. Are you injured? Medical exam complete. Evidence preserved. Marcus, this wasn't excessive force. This was calculated sexual humiliation, federal crimes. Morgan processes the implications: political destruction, department scandal, federal oversight, civil rights investigations. Then fury replaces analysis entirely. He assaulted my wife. 23 minutes later, Hayes enters Morgan's office, confident, unaware his career just died. Sheriff, about that mall incident, you mean when you ripped my wife's skirt off? Hayes's face goes white, pure system shock. Your wife? Jessica Morgan, the woman you called ghetto trash, my wife of 24 years. Hayes's mouth opens. No words emerge. Terror paralyzes his vocal cords. Sir, I didn't know what. That sexual assault is illegal, that you just committed federal crimes against my family. Morgan's radio crackles. Sheriff, Channel 9 on line 1, CNN on line 2, FBI on line 3. The media explosion begins. National coverage, federal interest. Hayes, you're terminated. Criminal charges filed tomorrow morning. Sir, please, my family should have considered them before becoming a sexual predator. Morgan escorts Hayes out personally. Badge and gun surrendered. Termination official. Within 97 minutes, CNN breaks the story. Sheriff's wife sexually assaulted by police officer. Local scandal becomes national crisis. Federal civil rights implications explode across legal networks. Social media erupts with new understanding. Hashtag sheriff's wife trends globally. The irony is incredible dominates Twitter. Hayes destroyed the wrong family. At 10:03 in the evening, Morgan releases his statement. Today, Officer Derek Hayes sexually assaulted my wife. This was criminal sexual battery. Hayes has been terminated and will face full prosecution under state and federal law. No one is above accountability. The statement goes viral immediately. Law enforcement leaders praise Morgan's response. Reform advocates see hope for change. FBI Special Agent Karen Williams calls at 11:24 in the evening. Sheriff, this is Agent Williams, Civil Rights Division. We're opening a federal investigation into Hayes's assault and any patterns of similar conduct. Morgan expected this moment. Federal oversight, civil rights investigation. His entire department under federal microscope. Agent Williams, you'll have complete cooperation. But Agent Williams already knows something Morgan doesn't. Hayes's assault follows a disturbing pattern. 9 other women, 19 months, identical attacks. The federal investigation will uncover a predatory conspiracy that reaches the highest levels of the Riverside Police Department. FBI agent Karen Williams arrives in Riverside at 7 o'clock in the morning, October 17th. Civil Rights Division specialists don't waste time on single incidents. They investigate patterns, systems, conspiracies. Within 4 hours, her team identifies disturbing correlations. Detective Maria Park runs the database searches, cross-references Hayes's activity reports with assault complaints over 19 months. The pattern emerges immediately. Agent Williams, we have a serious problem. 9 women filed complaints against Hayes, all dismissed as misunderstandings or procedural disputes. Williams reviews the files. Identical victim profiles, all women of color, all shopping alone, all describing sexual humiliation tactics. Rosa Rodriguez, April 2023. Hayes accidentally tore her blouse during a suspicious behavior investigation. No charges filed. Angela Thompson, June 2023. Skirt ripped during contraband search. Complaint dismissed as equipment malfunction. Nicole Washington, August 2023. Dress torn off during public disturbance response. Internal review found no wrongdoing. 6 more cases. Identical methodology, same racist language, same sexual degradation tactics. This wasn't random violence. Williams tells her team, this was systematic hunting. The FBI interviews each victim individually. Their stories match perfectly. Rosa Rodriguez breaks down during her interview. He said I needed to learn my place, called me typical trash, smiled while tearing my clothes. I filed a complaint. Nothing happened. Angela Thompson describes identical treatment. He said black women like me think we're too important, ripped my skirt completely off. I was half naked in front of my children. Each victim reports the same aftermath. Complaints filed, investigations promised, results buried. FBI computer analyst Daniel Carter accesses Hayes's Academy files. The evidence destroys any ignorance defense. Agent Williams, Hayes scored 98% on civil rights law, perfect marks on sexual assault identification. He knew exactly what constituted criminal behavior. Academy transcripts show detailed instruction on Title 18, Section 242, civil rights violations under color of law, federal felony charges, prison sentences up to life. Hayes's training files include specific warnings. Forcible clothing removal constitutes sexual assault. Racial slurs during official duties violate federal civil rights statutes. Instructor notes from 2020. Cadet Hayes demonstrated thorough understanding of constitutional protections and criminal sexual conduct laws. He wasn't ignorant. He was informed and calculating. The smoking gun appears in Captain Thomas Williams's email archive, digital evidence preserved on department servers. April 18, 2023. Hayes is getting results. Compliance rates up 43% in his sector. June 25, 2023. Rodriguez's complaint is typical activist nonsense. Hayes maintains order effectively. August 3, 2023. These women need reality checks. Hayes provides necessary community education. October 15, 2023. Aggressive tactics work. Hayes understands urban policing requirements. Captain Williams didn't just ignore the complaints. He encouraged criminal behavior. Internal Affairs investigator Detective Michael Carter reviews the cases. His interview with Agent Williams reveals systematic cover-up. Every complaint got buried. Williams called them politically motivated attacks on police. Said Hayes was doing his job properly. What about the torn clothing, the sexual nature of the assaults? Williams claimed they were compliance techniques and uniform malfunctions. Complete lies, but he made it official policy. FBI forensic accountant Linda Santos uncovers the money trail. Financial records reveal criminal conspiracy at the institutional level. Agent Williams, the department has a community compliance bonus system. Officers get cash rewards based on stop and search numbers. The bonus structure incentivizes aggressive tactics, $60 per pedestrian stop, $120 per vehicle search, $240 per compliance enforcement action. Hayes's bonus payments over 19 months, $14,312. Every assault generated department bonuses. Sexual humiliation became profitable. Santos discovers budget allocations specifically for enhanced community policing initiatives. Federal grants diverted to reward criminal behavior. This isn't just individual misconduct. Santos explains, this is institutionalized criminal conspiracy. Williams studies the financial web. Grant money from federal community policing programs used to reward civil rights violations. Taxpayer dollars financing systematic sexual assault. The FBI expands the investigation scope. Additional agents arrive from Washington. Forensic accountants, digital evidence specialists, civil rights prosecutors. By October 24th, evidence accumulated beyond reasonable doubt. Federal prosecutor Kevin Reynolds reviews the case files. This meets every element of criminal conspiracy, multiple perpetrators, systematic targeting, financial motivation, institutional cover-up. Reynolds briefs the U.S. Attorney's Office. Recommendations. Federal criminal charges against Hayes, Williams, and 4 additional supervisors. Charges under consideration. Title 18, Section 242, Civil Rights Violations. Title 18, Section 241, Conspiracy Against Rights. Title 18, Section 1341, Mail Fraud, Federal Grant Misuse. Title 18, Section 1030, Computer Fraud, Evidence Tampering. Social worker Laura Martinez interviews the assault survivors. The psychological damage runs deeper than torn clothing. These women stopped shopping alone, changed their daily routines, live in fear of police contact. This was terrorism disguised as law enforcement. Rosa Rodriguez requires ongoing therapy. I can't see police uniforms without panic attacks. He destroyed my sense of safety. Angela Thompson moved to another county. My children ask why the policeman hurt mommy. What do I tell them? Those badges make some men monsters. The FBI documents systematic trauma across 9 families, evidence of federal civil rights violations on an institutional scale. Assistant Attorney General Elizabeth Brooks reviews the preliminary findings. Her decision triggers the largest police corruption investigation in state history. This case demonstrates textbook conspiracy to violate civil rights. Federal prosecution is mandatory. Brooks authorizes full federal investigation, additional agents, criminal prosecutors, civil rights specialists. The investigation expands beyond individual crimes to systemic corruption, federal oversight of the entire Riverside Police Department. Comment here if you've seen patterns of police abuse in your community. The FBI needs systematic documentation to build federal cases. The national media recognizes the story's significance. This isn't isolated misconduct. This represents institutionalized criminal behavior. Legal expert Dr. Laura Walsh appears on CNN. When police departments reward sexual assault with bonuses, we're dealing with organized criminal activity. Constitutional scholar Professor Robert Carter provides context. This case will set precedent for federal intervention in local police corruption. The investigation reveals what reform advocates suspected. Hayes wasn't one bad officer. He was the visible symptom of systematic criminal conspiracy. Captain Williams was placed on administrative leave. 4 additional supervisors suspended. Internal affairs completely restructured under federal oversight. But federal prosecutors discover even more troubling evidence. The conspiracy reaches higher than anyone imagined. Hayes' arrest on federal charges triggers immediate damage control. Within 7 hours, prominent criminal defense attorney Victor Thompson arrives from the state capitol. Price tag, $850 per hour. Funding source, Fraternal Order of Police Legal Defense Fund. Thompson specializes in police misconduct cases. His strategy, destroy victim credibility, challenge evidence authenticity, claim selective prosecution. Standard playbook for defending uniformed predators. The character assassination begins immediately. Mrs. Morgan has obvious motivations for fabricating assault claims. Thompson tells Channel 9. Sheriff Morgan faces budget cuts, political pressure, federal oversight concerns. This family benefits significantly from victim status. Thompson's statement ignores video evidence, medical documentation, 9 additional victims, and Hayes' own recorded words. Defense tactics rely on public confusion, not factual accuracy. Rosa Rodriguez receives the first threatening call at 12:14 in the morning, October 25th. Unknown number. Male voice disguising himself poorly. Drop your FBI cooperation or your kids might get hurt walking to school. Rodriguez reports the threat immediately. FBI traces the call to a burner phone purchased with cash. Security footage from the electronics store shows Officer James Hayes making the purchase. Hayes, Derek's former partner, currently under internal investigation for civil rights violations. Angela Thompson's intimidation comes through social media. Anonymous accounts flood her Facebook with violent messages. Lying women who attack police deserve what they get. Digital forensics traces the accounts to IP addresses registered to Riverside Police Department computers. The intimidation campaign originates from inside the police station. Nicole Washington faces workplace harassment. Her supervisor suddenly questions her attendance record. Coworkers receive anonymous tips about her anti-police activism. Performance reviews mysteriously change from excellent to problematic. The pattern is systematic. Silence victims through fear, economic pressure, social isolation. FBI Agent Williams documents each intimidation incident. Federal charges pile up: witness tampering, conspiracy, obstruction of justice. Sheriff Morgan discovers his department budget frozen by county commissioners. Emergency session called. Political allies disappear overnight. Commissioner Michael Williams, no relation to Captain Thomas Williams, leads the political assassination. Sheriff Morgan's personal vendetta against law enforcement damages public safety. His wife's claims create unnecessary federal scrutiny. Morgan's 24-year career faces political execution. Pension threatened, health insurance questioned, re-election prospects destroyed. County Attorney Sandra Morrison files ethics complaints against Morgan. Using official position to pursue personal grievances violates public trust. The message broadcasts clearly: protect the system or face complete destruction. Marcus and Jessica Morgan's mortgage payments increase mysteriously. Bank representative claims credit risk assessment changes. Their insurance premiums double overnight. New actuarial calculations, agents explain. Financial pressure designed to force case withdrawal. Classic intimidation through economic warfare. Defense attorney Thompson files motion after motion. Discovery delays, evidence challenges, venue change requests, victim deposition demands. Standard delay tactics exhaust federal prosecutors, frustrate victims, generate massive legal costs for all parties. Thompson's team challenges video authenticity. Digital manipulation technology makes any footage questionable. Expert witnesses testify about deepfake possibilities, compression artifacts, timestamp irregularities, pure desperation masquerading as legal strategy. Medical evidence gets attacked viciously. Thompson hires competing doctors to reinterpret Jessica's injuries. Bruising patterns consistent with accidental contact, not intentional assault. Digital forensics expert Brian Park discovers intrusion attempts on FBI computer systems. Sophisticated hacking efforts target Hayes's case files. Someone's trying to corrupt the evidence chain. Park reports to Agent Williams. Professional-level cybersecurity violations. FBI traces the intrusion attempts to private investigation firm Morrison Security Solutions. Client: Fraternal Order of Police Legal Defense Fund. Additional federal charges filed: computer fraud, obstruction of justice, tampering with federal criminal investigation. Mall security supervisor Thomas Wilson receives anonymous offers. $30,000 cash for accidental camera system failure. Wilson immediately reports the bribery attempt to federal investigators. The corruption spreads like cancer through multiple institutions. Reform-minded officers face hostile work environments. Detective Karen Wilson, the internal affairs investigator supporting federal cooperation, discovers her locker vandalized. Police union representative warns her about career suicide. Anonymous flyers circulate throughout the police station. Karen Wilson, FBI snitch. Blue wall violations have consequences. Wilson receives threatening voicemails. Rats don't retire healthy from law enforcement careers, but Wilson documented every intimidation incident. Additional federal evidence accumulating daily. Conservative media outlets receive anonymous tips about Jessica Morgan's background. Fabricated stories emerge. Sheriff's wife has anti-police activism history. Social media bots flood comment sections. Another race-baiting attack on heroes in blue. Fake assault claims destroy good officers. Professional disinformation campaign designed to shift public opinion. Well-funded, coordinated, completely fabricated. Agent Williams escalates witness protection protocols. Rosa Rodriguez and her children receive 24/7 federal security detail. The intimidation campaign proves conspiracy. Williams explains, multiple actors coordinating criminal obstruction. Angela Thompson relocates to federal safe house. Temporary protection until trial completion. The FBI treats witness intimidation as additional criminal enterprise. RICO investigation potential, organized criminal activity spanning multiple jurisdictions. Thompson's legal team issues a statement. Officer Hayes maintains innocence regarding all charges. Video evidence shows standard police procedure escalating due to suspect resistance. Federal prosecutors are pursuing politically motivated prosecution based on Sheriff Morgan's personal vendetta. Engagement point. Have you seen communities where reporting police misconduct leads to retaliation? Share your experiences below. Federal investigators monitor public feedback for pattern recognition. FBI investigation reveals institutional support for the intimidation campaign. Police union dues fund defense attorneys. Department computers facilitate cybercrime. Official resources support witness tampering. Federal prosecutors recognize organized criminal enterprise, not just individual misconduct, systematic conspiracy involving dozens of participants. Captain Thomas Williams receives additional federal charges: conspiracy, witness intimidation, obstruction of justice, civil rights violations. Commissioner Michael Williams faces similar charges for political obstruction and evidence tampering. The defense strategy backfires completely. Every intimidation attempt becomes additional federal evidence. Every threat generates new criminal charges. Hayes's simple assault case transforms into massive criminal conspiracy prosecution. But federal investigators uncover even more disturbing evidence. The conspiracy connects to similar patterns in neighboring counties, suggesting statewide organized criminal activity targeting civil rights. October 29th, federal prosecutor Kevin Reynolds spreads Hayes's case, files across his conference table. 27 years prosecuting criminal cases. He's never seen evidence this overwhelming for federal civil rights violations. This isn't misconduct. Reynolds tells his team, this is organized criminal activity under federal statutes. The charges accumulate like criminal evidence. Title 18, Section 242, Deprivation of Rights under Color of Law. Maximum sentence, life imprisonment for cases involving sexual assault. Hayes's case qualifies: 9 documented victims, systematic targeting, calculated sexual humiliation. Title 18, Section 241, Conspiracy against Rights. Maximum sentence, 11 years federal prison. Captain Williams, Commissioner Williams, Officer Hayes, all implicated. Institutional conspiracy proven through financial records, email evidence, intimidation campaigns. Title 18, Section 1341, Mail fraud related to federal grant misuse. Community policing funds diverted to reward criminal behavior. Financial conspiracy spanning multiple government levels. Reynolds calculates potential sentences. Hayes faces 43 years to life in federal prison. No parole possibility in the federal system. Real time, real consequences. Federal judges don't show mercy for civil rights predators. Reynolds explains to FBI agent Williams, especially systematic ones targeting multiple victims. The realization hits all parties simultaneously. This case will destroy everyone involved. Jessica Morgan sits in her kitchen reviewing legal briefings. Federal victim advocates explain the trial process. Months of testimony, public scrutiny, media attention, cross-examination by hostile defense attorneys. Mrs. Morgan, you should understand federal trials take 2 to 4 years. Your life becomes a public record. Defense attorneys will attack your character, marriage, motivations, credibility. Marcus Morgan faces career annihilation regardless of trial outcome. Law enforcement leaders don't survive federal civil rights prosecutions. Political allies abandon ship immediately. Their daughter Emma, 12 years old, asks innocent questions. Why are people saying bad things about Daddy on the news? Why can't I play outside alone anymore? Federal protection requirements restrict normal family life. Security details. Location changes, constant threat assessment. 24 years of marriage tested by federal criminal prosecution. Personal relationships strained beyond recognition. Derek Hayes sits in county jail reviewing federal indictments. The public defender explains federal sentencing guidelines. No negotiation leverage. Evidence overwhelming. Conviction probability, 99.8%. Mr. Hayes, federal civil rights violations carry mandatory minimum sentences. Systematic sexual assault elevates charges to life imprisonment categories. Hayes's wife files for divorce. Children face social destruction, school harassment, community ostracism, financial devastation from legal fees. His pension disappears, health insurance terminated. The house faces foreclosure, complete life destruction stemming from calculated criminal choices. Federal charges don't allow plea bargaining to misdemeanors. This isn't local court. This is federal criminal prosecution with international media attention. Thomas Williams realizes his supervisory role created criminal liability for every assault Hayes committed. Legal doctrine: supervisors who enable civil rights violations face identical charges as perpetrators. 25 years of police service ending in federal prison. Pension forfeited. Health insurance lost. Family reputation destroyed permanently. Williams's attorney explains federal conspiracy charges. Your emails praising Hayes's compliance techniques constitute criminal evidence. You didn't just ignore crimes, you encouraged them. Federal sentencing guidelines for supervisory conspiracy: 16 to 27 years prison. No early release. No administrative segregation. General population federal prison for former police captain. Life expectancy measured in months, not years. Federal victim advocates interview assault survivors. Psychological evaluations reveal systematic trauma across 9 families. Rosa Rodriguez requires intensive therapy. I trusted police before Hayes. Now I can't function near any uniform. My children think all police are predators. Angela Thompson describes persistent nightmares. He smiles while destroying me publicly. That image haunts me every single day. Federal prosecution won't erase psychological damage. Community trust in law enforcement shattered across racial lines. Federal oversight necessary for decades. Riverside's reputation faces permanent destruction. Economic development stalled. Tourism declined. Property values dropping. Federal prosecutor Reynolds explains the difference between state and federal prosecution to local media. State courts handle misconduct. Federal courts prosecute civil rights terrorism. Hayes committed federal crimes equivalent to terrorism against constitutional rights. The federal judicial system treats civil rights predators identically to organized crime bosses. Same sentencing structure, same prison conditions, same lack of mercy. Agent Williams briefs the community on federal criminal justice. Federal prosecution means real accountability. No administrative leave, no pension protection, prison time measured in decades. Governor Rachel Wilson calls an emergency session addressing statewide police oversight. Federal intervention triggers mandatory reforms across state law enforcement. This case demonstrates systematic failure requiring federal oversight. Governor Wilson announces local police departments cannot self-regulate constitutional compliance. State funding for police departments depends on federal civil rights compliance verification. New oversight structure: mandatory body cameras, federal training requirements. The political earthquake spreads beyond Riverside to statewide institutional reform. But federal investigators have identified connections to similar criminal conspiracies in neighboring counties, suggesting this case represents only the beginning of massive federal law enforcement intervention. November 2nd, Assistant Attorney General Elizabeth Brooks arrives in the state. Department of Justice Criminal Division doesn't send senior leadership for local police misconduct. They deploy for organized criminal conspiracies threatening constitutional rights nationwide. Brooks reviews the evidence compilation in the FBI field office conference room. 9 systematic assault victims, financial conspiracy documentation, witness intimidation campaigns, political obstruction evidence. This case represents textbook civil rights terrorism. Brooks announces to the federal prosecution team, Systematic targeting of constitutional rights under color of law. Federal prosecutor Kevin Reynolds receives official authorization. Maximum charges under federal criminal statutes. No plea bargaining considerations. Full prosecutions seeking maximum sentences. 25 grand jurors review evidence compilation over 4 days. Video testimony from 9 assault survivors. Financial records proving institutional conspiracy. Digital evidence of intimidation campaigns. Grand jury foreman Michael Carter, retired federal judge, guides the deliberation. Federal grand juries indict based on probable cause for federal crimes. This evidence exceeds reasonable doubt standards. Criminal indictments return unanimous votes. United States versus Derek Hayes, 7 federal felony counts. Civil rights violations, sexual assault under color of authority, conspiracy against constitutional rights. Maximum sentence, life imprisonment. United States versus Thomas Williams, 5 federal felony counts. Supervisory conspiracy, civil rights violations, financial fraud, witness intimidation. Maximum sentence, 27 years federal prison. United States versus Michael Williams, 4 federal felony counts. Political obstruction, evidence tampering, conspiracy. Maximum sentence, 17 years federal prison. Additional indictments sealed pending arrests of 13 co-conspirators across 4 counties. Brooks assigns Criminal Division prosecutor Sarah Carter to lead the case. Carter specializes in civil rights terrorism prosecutions. 25 successful federal convictions. 0 acquittals. Federal criminal prosecution differs fundamentally from state misconduct cases. Carter explains to victims' families, "We prosecute systematic terrorism against constitutional rights." Prison sentences reflect federal terrorism equivalency. Carter's prosecution strategy demonstrates systematic criminal enterprise designed to terrorize specific communities through sexual assault and racial intimidation. Federal criminal charges carry mandatory minimum sentences. No judicial discretion for downward departures. Real accountability through federal prison time. Assistant Attorney General Brooks announces federal prosecution at National Press Conference. Today, federal grand juries returned criminal indictments against multiple defendants for systematic civil rights terrorism in Riverside. These defendants used police authority to commit sexual assault, racial intimidation, and constitutional violations against American citizens. Brooks continues, federal law treats systematic civil rights violations identically to terrorism against American constitutional democracy. Prison sentences will reflect that equivalency. National media coverage amplifies the federal response. CNN legal analyst Patricia Martinez provides context. This prosecution sends a clear message. Systematic police terrorism triggers federal criminal accountability. Federal victim advocates coordinate comprehensive support for assault survivors, relocation assistance, psychological services, economic protection, witness security during prosecution. Rosa Rodriguez receives federal victim compensation. Federal system recognizes civil rights assault as terrorism. Compensation reflects systematic trauma impact. Angela Thompson benefits from federal protective services. FBI treats our safety as national security priority. Local police never provided this level of protection. Federal support acknowledges that civil rights terrorism requires federal-level response and victim protection. Carter outlines federal prosecution timeline. December 2024, criminal arraignments and detention hearings. January 2025, discovery phase and evidence compilation. April 2025, pretrial motions and plea deadline. July 2025, federal criminal trial commencement. September 2025, sentencing phase for convicted defendants. Federal criminal prosecution operates on accelerated timeline. Carter explains, civil rights terrorism cases receive priority scheduling. FBI establishes permanent field office in Riverside. Federal oversight of local law enforcement continues indefinitely. Community policing replaced by federal supervision. Agent Williams briefs Brooks on investigation expansion. Evidence indicates systematic civil rights terrorism across multiple state counties. Coordinated criminal conspiracy involving state-level officials. Federal investigation identifies similar patterns in multiple counties. Systematic sexual assault campaigns, financial reward structures, political protection networks. The Hayes case represents only the first prosecution in a massive federal criminal investigation spanning statewide civil rights terrorism conspiracy. Brooks authorizes full federal task force, 53 additional agents, 14 prosecutors, unlimited federal resources. November 8th, FBI digital forensics specialist Daniel Carter makes the discovery that transforms Hayes's case from strong to absolutely unshakable. Hidden in Hayes's personal phone data, 19 months of recorded conversations. Agent Williams, you need to hear this immediately. Carter plays the audio through federal evidence speakers, crystal clear quality, undeniable criminal intent. Recording date, April 13, 2023. Participants, Derek Hayes, James Hayes. Location, Riverside Police Department locker room. Hayes's voice unmistakable, got to keep these uppity women scared. Show them what happens when they think they're better than us. James responds, how do you handle the complaints? Williams covers everything. Calls it community compliance training. The city loves our stop numbers. Bonuses keep flowing. Recording date, August 21st, 2023. Participants, Derek Hayes, Officer Ryan Ross. Hayes hit another one yesterday, black woman in a sundress, thought she could mouth off, ripped that dress clean off her. Bet she thinks twice next time. Ross, security cameras catch that. Who cares? Williams already called it equipment malfunction. The system protects us. The recordings continue, 19 months of documented criminal conspiracy. Federal prosecutor Sarah Carter reviews the audio evidence with FBI leadership. 25 years of prosecution experience. She's never heard such clear criminal intent documentation. This audio proves premeditation, systematic targeting, racial motivation, sexual assault planning, and institutional conspiracy. Carter briefs Assistant Attorney General Brooks. Federal juries will convict based on defendants' own words. Recording date, October 8, 2023. Participants, Derek Hayes, Captain Thomas Williams. Williams, city commissioners asking questions about complaint patterns. Keep incidents subtle. Hayes, subtle, I'm teaching these women respect through fear. Works every time. Williams, federal oversight concerns me. Clean up your methods. Hayes, my methods generate compliance and bonuses. You get 22% of my performance pay. Don't lecture me about methods. The audio proves financial conspiracy at supervisory level. Williams received direct payment for enabling criminal behavior. Based on the phone evidence, federal judges authorize comprehensive wiretap surveillance, real-time monitoring of conspiracy participants. Additional recordings surface from ongoing federal surveillance. Recording date, October 24, 2024. Participants, Thomas Williams, Police Union Attorney Victor Thompson. Williams. Hayes messed up targeting the sheriff's wife. Federal heat is getting intense. Thompson, intimidate the other victims, make them withdraw cooperation. Standard witness management. Williams, FBI is protecting them now. Federal charges are coming. Thompson, then we destroy Morgan's credibility. Make this about politics, not crimes. The conversations prove ongoing criminal conspiracy, witness intimidation, evidence tampering, obstruction of federal investigation. FBI analysis reveals systematic criminal organizations spanning multiple jurisdictions. 25 police officers across 5 counties, 9 supervisory personnel, 4 county commissioners, 3 state legislators, 1 federal grant administrator. Financial records show $378,000 in federal community policing grants diverted to reward systematic civil rights violations. Federal wiretaps capture conversations involving State Representative Robert Wilson and State Senator Rachel Garcia. Wilson to Garcia, Riverside situation threatens statewide federal oversight. Shut down the investigation through budget pressure. Garcia responds. FBI doesn't respond to state political pressure. This case is beyond our control. Wilson, then discredit the victims, character assassination through legislative hearings. Federal prosecutors add Wilson and Garcia to criminal conspiracy indictments. Dr. Laura Morrison, Federal Community Policing Grant Administrator, received $52,000 in payments for directing federal funds to departments with civil rights violation patterns. Morrison's recorded conversation with Williams. Keep the assault statistics hidden from federal oversight. Grant renewals depend on clean civil rights records. Morrison faces federal charges, fraud, conspiracy, theft of federal funds. Maximum sentence, 22 years federal prison. Federal evidence compilation, 51 hours of recorded criminal planning. $378,000 in federal fund theft. 25 police officers involved in systematic conspiracy. 9 documented sexual assault victims. 13 politicians enabling criminal behavior. Carter briefs the federal prosecution team. This evidence proves the largest civil rights criminal conspiracy in state history. Defense attorney Victor Thompson reviews the federal audio evidence. Criminal defense becomes impossible when defendants record their own crimes. Thompson advises Hayes, federal wiretap evidence is unshakable. Plea negotiations are your only option. Hayes refuses plea discussions. Federal trial becomes certainty. Assistant Attorney General Brooks authorizes maximum prosecution. This criminal conspiracy represents domestic terrorism against constitutional rights. Federal sentencing will reflect terrorism equivalency. Federal grand juries prepare additional indictments. The criminal network spans 5 counties, 25 officers, 13 politicians, and federal grant administrators. Hayes's simple assault case became the largest federal civil rights prosecution in state history. But federal prosecutors discover even more disturbing evidence. This conspiracy connects to similar networks in 7 additional states, suggesting nationwide criminal organization targeting constitutional rights. November 19th, Federal Courthouse, State Capitol. The largest civil rights criminal prosecution in state history begins with federal arraignments. 25 defendants in orange federal detention jumpsuits, shackled. No bail for civil rights terrorism charges. United States Magistrate Judge Rachel Collins reads federal indictments aloud. Public record. Complete transparency. United States of America versus Derek Hayes and 24 co-conspirators. Federal criminal charges, conspiracy against rights, deprivation of rights under color of law, witness tampering, obstruction of justice. The courtroom packed beyond capacity. Assault survivors occupy front rows. National media documents everything. Hayes sits motionless. Federal reality sinking in. No local protection. No political allies. Federal criminal justice treats civil rights terrorism seriously. Criminal Division Prosecutor Sarah Carter addresses the court. These defendants used police authority to commit systematic sexual assault against American citizens. Federal evidence includes recorded conversations, financial conspiracy documentation, victim testimony, and digital proof of criminal planning. Carter displays Hayes's recorded words. Got to keep these uppity women scared. Show them what happens when they think they're better than us. Audible gasps throughout the courtroom, Hayes's own voice convicting him. Jessica Morgan addresses federal court directly. Your Honor, Officer Hayes weaponized police authority to terrorize constitutional rights. Federal prosecution ensures this terrorism ends permanently. Rosa Rodriguez testifies, Hayes destroyed my family's trust in law enforcement. Federal conviction will restore faith in constitutional protection. Angela Thompson, federal courts represent justice that local systems couldn't provide. 9 survivors testify, consistent stories, systematic targeting. Sexual humiliation tactics. Defense attorney Victor Thompson provides brief statement. Our clients maintain innocence regarding federal charges. Judge Collins interrupts. Counselor, federal evidence includes recorded statements planning sexual assaults. How does standard policing include systematic sexual terrorism? Thompson has no response. Federal evidence proves criminal intent beyond doubt. Judge Collins reviews detention criteria. Civil rights terrorism charges carry presumption against release. Defendants demonstrated systematic criminal behavior and ongoing community threat. All 25 defendants remanded to federal custody. No bail consideration. Judge Collins sets schedule. Discovery completion March 2025, pretrial motions May 2025, federal jury trial August 2025, sentencing October 2025. Federal trials receive priority for civil rights terrorism cases. Sheriff Marcus Morgan observes, Federal accountability proves constitutional rights matter more than badges. Civil rights advocate Dr. Laura Washington. This prosecution demonstrates federal commitment to protecting rights against systematic terrorism. CNN legal analyst Patricia Martinez. This prosecution establishes precedent that systematic police terrorism triggers federal accountability equivalent to domestic terrorism charges. FBI agent Williams briefs media. Today's arraignments represent initial prosecutions. Federal investigation continues across 7 states involving similar terrorism conspiracies. Assistant Attorney General Elizabeth Brooks. Federal prosecution ensures constitutional rights receive protection equivalent to national security. Civil rights terrorism faces federal terrorism consequences. Federal accountability begins. Real prison time awaits. September 15, 2025, Federal Courthouse Sentencing Day. Judge Rachel Collins delivers federal criminal sentences. Derek Hayes, 9 years federal prison for systematic civil rights terrorism. Thomas Williams, 7 years federal prison for supervisory conspiracy. Commissioner Michael Williams, 5 years federal prison for political obstruction. 22 additional defendants receive sentences ranging from 3 to 13 years federal prison. No early release. Federal time means real time. Hayes stands in federal court. Shackles. No badge, no authority, no power. Just federal prisoner 53728 awaiting transport to maximum security federal penitentiary. Federal oversight transforms state law enforcement completely. Mandatory body cameras. Federal civil rights training. Independent oversight boards. Zero tolerance for constitutional violations. Riverside Police Department operates under federal consent decree indefinitely. Community policing replaced by federal accountability standards. Sheriff Marcus Morgan implements comprehensive reforms. Federal prosecution proved that badges don't grant immunity from criminal law. Jessica Morgan becomes national advocate for federal police accountability. Survivors deserve federal criminal prosecution, not local administrative procedures. She testifies before Congress about civil rights terrorism. When local systems protect predators, federal intervention becomes constitutional necessity. 9 assault survivors receive federal victim compensation, counseling services, economic support, legal protection. The prosecution sets nationwide precedent. Police departments across America implement federal compliance protocols. Civil rights terrorism prosecutions increased 387% following Hayes' conviction. Assistant Attorney General Brooks announces expansion. Federal civil rights prosecutions will continue wherever systematic terrorism threatens constitutional rights. Riverside rebuilds trust through accountability. Property values recover. Economic development resumes. Federal oversight enables genuine community policing. Citizens report police misconduct without fear. Federal protection ensures witness safety. Real accountability generates real trust. Some cruelty required a badge to get away with, but federal criminal law doesn't recognize badge immunity for civil rights terrorism. Hayes discovered that constitutional rights carry federal protection. Victims discovered that justice sometimes requires federal intervention. Share your experiences with police accountability below. Federal prosecutors monitor community feedback for systematic violation patterns. Because when authority figures choose cruelty over service, federal criminal law provides the ultimate accountability. Intentional cruelty in uniform is a crime, not policing. At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice. Where are you from? Tell us in the comments below. And if you're loving this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more.